Two cases, one conviction. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the assumptions Dexter had when this case started and why that assumption was reasonable. Everything in front of him here pointed out to one case number, 2020 C-55430-A. Motion hearings, trial calendar, court reporter, even the judge says it out loud on the record. As far as we know, the case that was being headed to trial was 2020 C-55430. Now, before we get into a re-indictment, we have to stop here on October 4th, 2021. This is a motion hearing. The transcript is clean, right? The court calls the case 2020 C-55430. The judge says it's on the trial calendar. Everyone acknowledges there's a speedy trial demand. The state confirms they are proceeding on this case. And then the key moment happens. The prosecutor states on the record that a new indictment is coming. Not as a surprise, not as a reaction. They already know. And at the same time, the state is talking about predicated acts, Bibb County conduct, coordination with federal authorities, removing and reshaping acts in the indictment. All of this happening while the trial is already set. Now, this matters because juries don't get assembled overnight. Because by October 4th, the jury had already been called, notices had gone out, and the trial train had already started rolling. Now, fast forward 1 week. According to the docket, a new indictment, 2021 C-56788, is dated October 12th. But notice what doesn't happen. There was no notice to Dexter. There was no notice to jury. There was no reset of trial. There was no reconvening. There is no entry of a null price on this docket. Even though they already told the court that they were going to re-indict, they let the trial proceed anyway. All right, trial begins. 2026, the 28th, 2021, Judge Bo Adams, as you can see up there, 55430, right? Same prosecutor, same defense attorney, and most importantly, same court reporter, Joy Malone. Now, this goes on through the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th, 3 full days. No announcement of a new case number, no on-the-record switch. Now, before we get to the docket, we have to deal with this document because this is where 56788 first become real on paper without ever becoming real in court, okay? On October 28th, right here, 2021, this document exists. It says that 2020 55430 is null pros, right? That's it, null pros se. That means dismiss. And even in this section right here, it talks about how they said this in open court. Now, we have the trial transcript. This was never said in open court. Matter of fact, it's not on the docket. And Dexter only got this by mistake because they sent so much paperwork to him when he requested his record. All right. Then it says re-indictment under 56788A. All right. They re-indicted. And as you can see on here also, there is no signature from the defendant or his lawyer. You just have the judge, ADA, and Greg Winters, another ADA. All right. Now, see, Dexter received this paper, and that's important because if it truly didn't exist, he wouldn't have it. But if it truly counted, it would be on the docket. Instead, it lives in this in-between space, not litigated, not recorded, not acknowledged on the open record, right? And notice something else. This paperwork is dated October 28th. Here's something, check this out, here it comes. Because this trial started on the 26th through the 28th, while trial evidence is already recorded, right? Witnesses have already testified. Evidence has already been introduced. Voir dire has already happened on the 55430. The null pros quietly says, by the way, that case you're trying is tied to a new case number, 56788. No arraignment, no jury instructions, no recess, unbeknownst to the defendant, the jury, and the evidentiary record. And this is why I never made the docket. And why this matter? Because when you go looking for the null price in the docket, right, it's up here in the header. You see it right here? It says null price restricted 1028.21, right? But you scroll down through the docket, there is no null price, right? None, nowhere. This is 55.430, which started in 2020. But even when you go up here and look, there is no 1028 2021. It skips from 22 to 29. After they slid that 28 null price document in on the 28th, we moved straight into Friday, which is the 29th, right? Look here, there's a new judge. There's a new court reporter, right? And the index later exposes this splice because from this moment forward, everything is tied to 56,788 because this case is being managed now. It's not being tried. Now watch this carefully, right? The index treats October the 29th like it's the moment the verdict happened. But the actual verdict sheet tells the truth. November the 1st, 2021. Now look, case number 56,788. Now the 29th was on a Friday. The 1st is a Monday. That's not a typo. That's a different legal day. And see, now we get to the index. But look what's it's got inside of it. October the 4th, motion hearing. It has October the 7th, another motion hearing. It has the trial date, trial from the 26th through the 28th, and it has the voir dire, right? And it also has verdict right there. You see, verdict 10/29, 2021. All of that stuff, it belongs to 55,430. But yet and still, they have it on 56,788, right? This is the moment Dexter first sees another indictment number, right? Not before trial, not before the verdict, through the appeal inventory. When Dexter filed his first appeal, they sent this, and this is the first time he's seen 56,788, right? And as you can see, I have just shown you guys. I can show you right here. The trial transcript, 26 through the 28, that's 55,430. The 10/4/21, that's 55,430. Hell, then the 56,788 didn't get indicted until October the 12th. So anything before October 12th, 2021 is dead. Look at it. Everything here is before October 12th, 2021 itself for the trial date and the verdict date. But everything else is before, right? And the thing about it is they started the trial on 55,430. These people ain't playing, man. Hold up, I got more. 3 days later, October 28th, Dexter files his second notice of appeal directly to that denial. Jurisdiction is now locked in. All right, on May 16th, 2025, an order identified mixed statement is entered. And its site is Aetna casualty, and it misstatements are not harmless. And it acknowledges appeal jurisdiction, and the clerk dockets it the same day. Now here's the contradiction. Because this is tied to 55,430, as you can see right here, the courts tries to fix it, right? But check out 56,788. Now this is in the 56,788, dated the July the 15th, 2025. And the court says, oh, we can't rule because it's under appeal. Now, mind you, Dexter filed a notice of appeal on April 28th, 2025. But on the 55,430, he enters an order of identifying misstatement and corrects it and enters an order even though it's under appeal. But on the clean docket, the one they slid in, the secret indictment, he said, oh, I can't order on that because it's under appeal. But you put in the order on the other one. They confirmed trial on October 4th. They announced re-indictment before trial ever started. They let trial proceed anyway. They labeled a null price without docketing it. They switched judges on the Friday. They compressed the verdict dates. They blended two case numbers. They revealed the split through an index. They denied the speedy trial. They triggered a second appeal, and they told two different jurisdiction stories at the same time.